Spring is in the air, so you know what that means. It's time to talk about outdoor adventures right here in the Midlands of South Carolina. That's right. Everything from nature trails to mountain biking, kayaking to fishing, camping, and everything in between. So let's get started. And for those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Brandon. Not only am I a transplant here to South Carolina, but I'm a local real estate agent as well, covering the Midlands of South Carolina, Lexington, Columbia, and Lake Murray. And I put videos out every single week teaching you about the area to see if it's right for you. So don't forget to click that subscribe button, but let's get started with the video. All right, so as mentioned in this video, we're gonna be talking about the outdoor activities right here in the Midlands of South Carolina. A lot of you that reach out to me say, what is there to do in the area? And I know I've highlighted the top 5 things that we like to do. However, when it comes to outdoor activities, what is there to do? So I'm gonna dive into those things. We're gonna talk about, of course, Lake Murray, the rivers, the walking trails, camping, state parks, you name it. All right here in the Midlands of South Carolina. So let's dive in and get started. All right, so of course, when we talk about outdoor activities, we gotta talk about Lake Murray. And like I said, we're gonna get into those state parks and things like that. But Lake Murray is such a highlight here in the Midlands of South Carolina. It's a 50,000 acre lake encompassing 4 different counties. I've done an entire series about Lake Murray. But even if the lake isn't your thing and just walking or running is, there's the dam walk. This is a 1.7 mile dam that you can walk across. And of course you got to get back, so 3.4 miles in total. But if the lake is your thing, of course, there are plenty of different places and opportunities where you can swim, kayak, fish, boat rentals. There's even the camping and rec site, Dreher Island. And of course, most people's favorite, a friend with a boat. And again, I wanted to highlight Lake Murray because I know it's one of our favorite things to do and always a highlight of people's trips. So carrying on from Lake Murray, as I mentioned, it's a dam. Realistically, it was a river that they dammed up. And on the backside of that dam is the Saluda River. And there are plenty of different places where you can access Saluda River to head out on a day of kayaking. And there's even Saluda Shoals Park, which encompasses a lot of different things, but it does have more entrances for kayaking on the river, as well as picnics and a day at the river. And of course, as highlighted in my top neighborhood series, there's neighborhoods like Saluda River Club that are right on the river and give you access right there in the neighborhood. All right, so now we start heading to those walking trails. First one I want to talk about is the 14-mile Creek Trail right here in downtown Lexington. It's actually accessed on the way up to the Lake Murray Dam. This trail is actually one of the first trails my wife and I walked when we moved here. It's a 1.2 mile trail that's a there and back trail. It is rated as an easy trail. You will see tons of nature and plenty of opportunities to sit down and see the water flow down the creek. Next, we head over the Columbia Canal and Riverfront Park in Columbia. So this 167 acre park has 2.5 miles of trail along the river. And this park is built around the historic city waterworks facility. Now from that, I want to roll into the West Columbia River Park and Amphitheater, because between the Columbia Canal, the West Columbia River Park, and the Casey River Walk, this makes up the Three Rivers Greenway. Now, in total combined, this is 19.4 miles worth of walking, running, and biking trails. Now, it is still under construction, so there are parts that break it apart. Hence the reason I talked about the different mileage at each place. However, the long-term goal is that eventually these will all be connected to make over 20 miles worth of walking, biking, and running space. And even future expansion that could go up to 50 miles of space. But for now, coming back to the River Park and Amphitheater, again, right there at the River Park is access to the river if you wanted to head out kayaking. As well, they do have the amphitheater, which you can rent out for different events. Otherwise, it's a great place to hang out for picnics and just enjoying the view of the river or a nice walk along the river. So now we start venturing to the state parks, and we start at Harbison Forest. So just on the other side of the interstate from Irmo, you have Harbeson. This is another older master plan community that has trails that go throughout it. And just on the edge of that is the Harbeson Forest. The Harbison Forest is a 2,137 acre park. There are 18 miles of trails in this park, ranging from easy to difficult. And we're talking about walking trails, jogging trails, and yes, mountain biking trails as well. And at the very edge of the Harbison Forest is the Broad River. You can have access to head out for a day of kayaking and canoes on the Broad River. Continuing on the parks is the Congaree National Park. You head south out of Columbia, down Bluff Road off 77, about 15-20 minutes out is where you'll find the Congaree National Park. Congaree National Park is made up of camping, trails, kayaking, fishing, you name it. So first let's start with the trails. There are 10 trails and one boardwalk for an easy walk. These trails range everywhere from easy to difficult. As well, there are access points for canoeing and kayaking. Specifically, the 15 miles you can kayak down the Cedar Creek. And there are companies that do guided tours, so that way you aren't headed off on your own. And then lastly, as I mentioned, there are camping sites here at the Congaree National Park. In the longleaf section, you have 10 individual camping sites, as well as 4 group camping sites. In the bluff camping section, which is a little more primitive, you'll have to hike to it, and there are no bathrooms or facilities nearby. They're gonna have 6 individual camping sites out there. Again, whether you just want an easy walk around the boardwalk, or you want an adventurous hike out to your campsite in the middle of the forest, Congaree National Park has it. Descentennial State Park, also known as Sesqui, because obviously sesquicentennial can be difficult to say. This 1,400 acre park is made up again of camping, dog park, splash pad, a 30 acre lake, 12 miles of hiking trails, picnic shelters, and more. That's right, so let's dive in again a little bit more. There is 12 miles of hiking and bike trails. Again, these range from easy to difficult. As mentioned, there's a 30 acre lake that you can just take an easy walk around, or head over to the lake house and rent a paddle boat to head out on the water, or stop for some fishing. As mentioned, there's camping, a lot more than a lot of the others. There's 78 sites that are set up for RV or tents, and 9 of those are full service RV sites. There are 5 group sites as well. As mentioned, there's the splash pad for the kids, as well as a dog park. And lastly, picnic shelters and playgrounds throughout. Descentennial is located right in Columbia. It's an easy getaway from the hustle and bustle of Columbia. Sesquicentennial, I don't think I said that right.
There's only one phone call that you need to make. In Columbia, Brandon Garon is a real estate agent dedicated to helping families relocating to South Carolina. Contact the agent I trust in Lexington and all of the Midlands, Brandon Garon, and visit him online at brandongaron.com.